क्या बात
Anyway,
करते
चलो
हो?
फिर से start करते हैं. Hi guys, how's it going? We're doing an episode with mom after a very long time.
Hello.
Why is that? What is the reason for us doing an episode after such a long time?
Because you guys ousted me today, you want to get you got me back in the episode because probably you guys are not prepared with any topic, and already 7-8 days have elapsed, so you
No,
have to
no,
kind
no.
of fill
That's
the
not
gap.
true. That's not true.
Okay, jokes apart, I am going to have a book review of my book on 4th of May in Gurgaon. It's this book review is being organized by Sabina Pillai. Sabina runs a club which goes by the name of Teabag. You can see the full form of Teabag in the links below. So, Sabina is a very dynamic woman who has been able to keep alive this group of very motivated book readers, and she's brought them together on one platform. So, at least in the times where we fear people are losing touch with reading, there is this group which is keeping it alive and kicking. And courtesy Sabina, the three women author are getting an opportunity to talk about their books in Gurgaon on 4th of May, and Jay will share the. What will you share
I
here?
will uh, I will share the invite here, right in between these two chairs that you see. So to give you a brief understanding of this episode, I'm going to be asking her questions with respect to the book that she's written, so that any one of you who will be attending this book review, like has an idea beforehand to what to expect from the book review. So, not to waste any time, I would ask you, what is the inspiration of this book?
The inspiration of this book is simple. I have spoken about it ad nauseum, yet I would like to speak again.
That was our first episode.
Yeah. So, and otherwise, also in different forum, I have spoken about what my inspiration behind writing this book was. Uh, those who don't know, I lost my husband 3.5 years ago, and he was a phenomenal storyteller. It was the way of unwinding for him that after a stressful day at work, he would come back and talk about the various experiences in life, and especially he used to talk a lot about little stories and anecdotes that he had heard while he was growing up. So those characters were so funny, they were so beautiful, and they were so unique, and they all had very unique stories attached to them. I used to write about whatever he used to say because, like, storytelling was his way of unwinding, writing was my way of unwinding. But I was never serious about my writing. For me, it was just something like expressing, writing, and forgetting. It was like journaling, as
Yeah,
the
because
counselors
most
say.
of the things that you had written were like, firstly, they were handwritten. Mom never really stored these stories like in a computer format or a Microsoft Word document or a Pages document. It was completely handwritten. And finally, during the pandemic, mom decided that she will start storing these stories on her phone. So the writing process for you was also a bit challenging. What do you think?
Yeah, it was challenging for me because I never had I mean, because how world, like, I think the most intense writing I must have done during my MA, when I was writing my thesis. After that, and that was probably in 2000, when did I do my PhD? 19
2007.
2007. So after 2007, I think I was totally out of touch with writing. So my writing had also become very labored and bad.
Her
Though once
PhD
upon
was
a
on
time,
Galsworthy, just so you know.
yeah.
Nobody in the British Isles also don't know about this guy. Anyway, sorry.
So
Galsworthy.
yeah, no, people do know
Of
about him. His
course, of course.
Justice, the play called Justice, is very, very famous, and
Yeah.
he was
Keep the
contemporary.
mic close.
Okay,
Huh.
he was George Bernard Shaw's contemporary.
Okay, okay.
So, and he's a Nobel laureate, if you may.
Okay,
He's
fine.
a Nobel laureate in literature.
Yeah.
So, you always deflect me. Where was I? I was talking about something else.
Yeah, writing the
So my
process.
writing had become very labored. It was so illegible that it was not legible at all, that I started finding writing very cumbersome. That is when, in this phase of Delta, I decided to write all the stories on my phone because I'm better better at typing with my thumbs than that that the type the
keyboard.
keyword
The keyboard.
QWERTY. It's the
No, but your phone is also a QWERTY keyboard, but like you don't like the bigger laptop or a personal
no,
computer.
it's not QWERTY because it is not QUR because
It is QWERTY.
no, no,
Your
no.
phone is QWERTY. What are you saying? Well, I will put this up on the episode anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, so I
Your phone is
preferred
QWERTY.
double, I two thumb
Yeah,
this
typing.
thing typing better than the actual traditional way of typing. So I started writing my stories on the phone. So I don't think that was too much of a challenge because I love typing, and that is how I stored all my. I mean, that is how I wrote the stories, and I stored it on my phone. Now you interrupted in my inspiration.
Okay, your inspiration for the writing. Okay.
Inspiration was not complete yet.
Okay, sorry. So continue.
So inspiration. So now Sanjeev used to tell me a lot of stories which were very very funny, which were very very endearing. So before I lost Sanjeev, writing never meant anything to me. I never took my writing too seriously. But after I lost him, I started thinking of sharing the stories that he used to share with me. I thought they were such beautiful stories that it should reach out to a lot of people, larger number of people. And that is how I decided to take up writing more seriously. Moreover, he also used to encourage whatever little I used to write, he would read it and he used to always encourage me to write because he thought I had that spark in me which needed some kind of honing and training and I could do wonders. There's no training, no honing, nothing. Yet I decided to take the plunge because of somehow that confidence was instilled in me by him that I can write.
That's very good. So, what exactly is the theme of your book? What is the running theme? There has to be a common theme amongst these short stories. What do you think that theme is?
This is very interesting and very close to my heart. So, the stories that I used to hear from him, or his experiences, or his childhood anecdotes that he remembered, it was mainly about different kinds of people that he had met. But somehow, I mean, dad, na? Dad was full of gyan and he used to give us so much good value related gyans also. But
Yeah.
somehow, all the characters that I got to know of through him and I really liked and I have incorporated in this book were those, fumbling, mumbling, erring, faltering, goofy humans. We are living in times where there is the strive for perfection is so phenomenally high that somehow I kind of shirk away. I kind of, I like and I look for people who are nowhere close to perfection. They become my heroes. They become my main protagonists. So I have kind of, I am, so I don't, I have this aversion to perfection, and
I think sorry to interject you, but the reason for that is that two of her sons haven't really achieved a lot in their lives.
no, because we are
So
all so faltering,
and most of
fumbling,
her friends'
mumbling,
kids are,
faltering.
IS, IPS officers now. So, and they all cracked IIT. So, like, yeah, from that angle, I think mom's protagonists have always been the underdogs and people who've
Yeah.
become like phoenixes, like through
So
ashes.
basically, I love goofy people. I love those faltering, mumbling, jumbling, faltering, erring people. Remember when we were growing up, we used to say to err is human. But now we're living in times where, erring is the biggest sin probably. So I'm still old school. I like those people who still err. I am not talking about anybody who's villainous. I'm just talking about somebody who is nowhere close to perfection. So if you go through my characters, the first common link between all of them, they are the goofy lots. And secondly, they are just human. They are not, none of them is really horrible human being. They're just goofy people who end up in situations which is their own making. They because they don't think too much, they just take a plunge, or they have this superciliousness about them,
Yeah.
self-righteousness about them. So they all have this idiosyncrasies which is very unique to them, and kind of it directly is responsible for the situation that they land up in. So the common theme is it's an imaginary world where all the goofy lots live together, and I have tried to tell the story of those goofy lots.
Yeah. So to give you more of an understanding about these short stories in which we've mentioned and talked about in detail in the first episode of this wonderful series as well, is that these stories are mostly coming out of Bihar. these stories are also focusing on my dad's life in Bihar from the 60s till
No, it
late
goes
80s,
before
and
CPI.
before that as well. I was coming to that, before that as well, and all the stories and the anecdotes that he heard of his family, like their glory days as being like a very very influential family, and then losing it all after an earthquake in 1934. The various socio-political scenarios that you have covered, specifically that story with respect to that car, and how people around that time, some people from our family were extremely influenced by the Indian National Congress and were supporting the Indian independence movement, and how that car became a symbol of British imperialism. So I think
Defiance to
defiance to, exactly,
British
defiance to
imperialism.
British imperialism. So this book covers a massive timeline which almost spans 80 years, and there I think the final story has to do with my younger
You,
brother
why do you have
Shubur.
don't divulge the
I'm
characters?
not.
They're just characters.
I know, but like the final story is about my younger brother, and the timeline is massive, and it is quite a. The story is quite. The stories are quite colorful. It is not following a set narration, so that is why the the uniqueness is what draws me to the book.
So let me make it very clear. If I have talked about a character like Channu Babu, supposing Channu Babu may be a person in the history somewhere, but my Channu Babu is amalgamation or assortment of maybe 4 5 characters that I have heard of,
Okay.
and I have kind of amalgamated
Okay.
all the characteristics under one name called Channu Babu.
Awesome.
So in history, you cannot go back and say, okay, I was talking about this character. I wasn't. I'm not talking specifically about anybody. I'm using Papa's stories, but characters are totally mine.
Absolutely. So I was telling you that I feel that some of the stories were, according to me, according to my interpretation of the book, were inspired by my younger brother. So that's why I mentioned it, and I'm glad that you told us that a lot of these characters are an amalgamation of multiple characters into one, which is what usually all the writers do.
Yeah.
And it has a very unique touch to it. I feel I'm not saying this because she's my mother and I would get some benefits out of it, but I'm also saying this as like a neutral reader. I feel that I don't think a lot of Indian readers have had an access to Bihar from this lens, because our interpretation of Bihar, our view of Bihar is always associated with violence, backwardness, poor levels of education, low HDI. So this is a very unique take to Bihar, where all of these things are there in the background and quite rampant, but at the end of the day, it's just showing Biharis as normal human beings, as normal individuals, as day-to-day people, which I think lacks in the mainstream media, in my opinion.
I didn't have any such thought while I was
I
writing.
did.
So, like, it's famously said that birth of a reader is death of an author. So, these are his interpretations. I don't even claim that I'm writing about Bihar per se. That is why I have made an imaginary world where my characters are set in. So, I mean, let people presume, what they assume, because it is totally, now the book is in their domain. So, what they interpret out of it is totally their call. So it's okay, like, but I don't make such claims.
I'm going to make such claims. That's my interpretation. But moral of the story is that read the book first,
Yeah.
then come to the book review. But even if you don't read the book, just come to the book review. It would mean a lot to us. I think there are 115 of us in this family, the subscribers obviously, and I'm sure that if like 10 of you or 15 of you show up, that would mean a lot to us, and it would really help us build this community and take it forward. Anyway, so my next question was, what was the most challenging part about converting these so-called real-life incidents into this short story format, where they were not too long and not too short? Like, how could you condense so much of information that Papa shared with you, like in like say what, how 6,000 words or 7,000 words?
It was difficult, it was challenging, but the mantra that was guiding me all through while I was writing was that we live in times of quick gratification. Nobody has time to read about my if I start meandering in my short stories from one aspect to another, I think the reader will lose touch with the story that I'm trying to communicate. So the biggest challenge was to keep it within word limits and keep it interesting also. So I had to bank on a narrative which was like very a second person account where you can see everything, you can experience everything. And where I purposely deleted a lot of information which were irrelevant to the building of the character and the narrative. So, if you may, so maybe for some people, some authors, those all that I have deleted would be very, very important. But for me, the narration and the communication of the story and character building was more important than involving all the other attributes which goes into story writing.
Understood.
So I just deleted like over explanation of
Yes.
the scene around, the scenery around, or I mean, you'll get it. Once you read
To
it, you will realize it's a very simple
to give
flow.
you guys perspective, my father was a huge fan of classical Russian literature, which were pedantic to say the least. And given the fact that he was a huge fan of authors like Dostoevsky and Leo Tolstoy, who believed in describing each and every scenario, that's how my father also narrated these stories to us. So that's why I asked my mother as to how difficult was for her to get rid of those details which you thought were irrelevant to the main plot and
So maybe
condense it in a shorter format.
yeah. So condensing happened after reading, rereading, editing, re-editing. Yeah, but again I would like to add something here. People learn a lot about their own skill by reading other people's work or going through other people's work. So if you're an artist, you learn about different kind of strokes when you look at other people's painting. If you are an author, you will read other people's book and you will make a mental note of things to do, things not to do. So there are a couple of authors who was so much into that descriptive mode that I could not go beyond 2 pages of what they were writing. So my guiding mantra was that be very laconic, we be very cryptic, and just say your story as soon as possible and as concisely as possible.
Understood.
So that became the guiding mantra. Our
Understood.
biggest challenge for any author is the author's block.
Author's
That
block.
also happened to me quite a number of times. So maybe I wrote one story in 3 days or 2 days, but there was a gap of 6 months between the other story. So those were the little challenges that I had to really keep in mind
Understood.
and I dealt with.
No, that's true. My next question would be how difficult was it to approach you? Sorry, how difficult was it to approach an established publishing house for you? Because we ended up approaching a publishing house which wasn't that well known, called Walnut Publications, who I feel have done a phenomenal job. So
They've
my
done an
question, they
excellent
have
job,
done an excellent
excellent
job
job,
in
yeah.
publishing and
Yeah.
creating a space for my mother. And that is the next question for you, as to how difficult it was for us, for all of us actually, to approach an established publishing house, and how difficult was it to get out of that hold.
Basically, to be very honest, I did not approach anybody that was big in this
Okay,
game.
so you did not do
I
it
did not go to
consciously.
Penguin. I did not go to Rupa. I did not go to any other so-called. I did not go to Bloomsbury or any of these publishing houses, just because I had heard a lot of horror stories.
Okay.
Horror stories that told me that, oh ho, you know, you have to go via media. You have to know somebody in these it may be a total, it may be a total hogwash, but this is what I had heard. So I was scared. I was scared that, and somebody told me that if you apply to Rupa or if you apply to Penguin, maybe they sit on your work for years and years together or months and months together. And if they reject your work, they don't even get back to you. So I was, even after my work was ready, I did not want to go through that kind of a,
Understood.
confusion where I had to waste my
Okay.
time waiting for them to
Okay.
reciprocate and respond.
Okay.
Somebody said that they only entertain people who have some kind of a prowess in society, so it's more of a quid pro quo for them.
Okay.
So you do something for me, I will do something for you. Another thing that I heard was that, probably it is, these houses, they they only welcome second time author or third time author, and it was my first book. So they may have welcomed my book. I have no clue, but this horror stories that were circulating around was enough to deter me, and I never approached them.
One more thing, just we have never approached a big publishing house. They may have been very good
To a lot of
to a
people,
lot of people,
not
must
taking
have
that
done a
away
very
from
good
them.
work,
Yeah.
a lot of good work, but we're not trying to defame them
Yeah.
in any which way. This is our personal opinion and our personal perspective, where my mom felt that in order to be published as quickly as possible, approaching a not so well known publishing house made more sense. And Walnut Publication did a pretty good job, and now they are only gaining ground. They are only becoming better. And
They're
recently,
becoming better and bigger.
better and
I'm so
bigger.
happy that they selected me and I
Yeah,
chose them.
yeah.
So we both chose each other, and it was a lovely journey with them. And I have again heard a lot of horror stories about post production engagements with the publishing houses. Their post production engagement with me is also phenomenal. So guys, please approach Walnut Publication. They're
If you're
doing
an upcoming
superb
author,
job. If you're an upcoming author,
please approach
please
them and
please
like,
approach them. The printing quality is also phenomenal, better than so many other new books that I've seen and read of other people. Their
you can hold
their
it in front of the
printing,
camera.
the paper, the fonts, the clarity of print, the paper use, it's all excellent, very nice. In fact, one of my friend who got this book, the first thing that she told me after she received the book from Amazon, she told me, I'm holding such a beautiful book. And let me tell you, if you have a beautiful book in your hand, you are motivated to read.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, that's what I feel. If I have a beauty like this lying in front of me, I'm motivated to pick it up
Raj
and
was the
read
one who
it.
designed the
Yes. So this cover was designed by my son, my
on
younger
Canva.
son.
On Canva.
Yeah,
That's
on
how
Canva.
DIY our approach is. Our podcast is also extremely DIY. And our book that has been published is also DIY. In fact, this house that we've built is also
Also
DIY.
totally DIY. So we are huge
We're
fan
fond of
of
DIY. We just
DIY.
don't like to be controlled at all. We don't want someone to be sitting on our heads telling us to do something.
Do this, do that, this is right, this is wrong, no, this is the day,
But
this is the way it moves. You should have neutral colors on the wall, you should have neutral colored furnitures. No, that is not us. We do what we want to do, and we end up having red sofas, blue sofas, yellow curtains,
anime in our lift.
anime. Our lift is super cute. All DIY. Hey, why did you laugh at anime? You don't
Nothing.
like it?
No, I like it.
No, don't say that.
It's good.
Everybody find it very
No,
cute.
it is cute.
Then why are you laughing?
ऐसे just
अच्छा,
making.
चलो,
I
ठीक
love
है.
anime. Anyway, so the next question is, if there is going to be, there is definitely going to be a movie slash OTT series on these short stories. Who do you think should be approached as a director? As the director, sorry, as a director.
You know what? Sometimes it's said कि शुभ शुभ बोलो, सरस्वती जी बैठती हैं जुबान पे, वो सच हो जाती है. After I saw Lapata Ladies, I'm in love with Kiran Rao.
Dude,
I
great job.
had reservations about
Even
that
Varun Grover did a
woman.
very good job with All India Rank. He made a great movie.
No, but I'm sorry if anyhow this reaches Kiran Rao. I'm very sorry. I was very judgmental of you, and I thought you're just pillion riding on your husband's back. Sorry.
You're gonna cut that. We're gonna
Anyway,
cut that.
so I had this. I mean, I never knew that Kiran Rao was so capable as a director and who could weave a magic like Lapata Ladies. So if my dream can come true, and if somebody can make a movie on or an OTT series on my book, though it sounds a little assumptuous, but it's okay. Everybody is entitled to their little dreams, and my dream is that someday my book is also made into some kind of a movie or an OTT series. So if anybody can do justice to it, it can be Kiran Rao, because I have seen the way she has picked up the nuances of people from Purvanchal. It is so beautifully depicted in that movie,
Lapata Ladies.
Lapata Ladies. It's amazing. So my recent favorite is Kiran Rao, honestly, without any doubts.
My recent favorite is Varun Grover. Good filmmaker. I never liked his comedy. I thought his comedy was pretty polarizing. But All India Rank was actually a pretty good movie. So
That was nice,
if I would want like a director for this OTT series, it would be Varun Grover. And I think his minimalistic approach is phenomenal. Even though I don't think I liked his work on Sacred Games, that was
But
mediocre.
did you see Lapata Ladies?
No, I haven't seen
Oh,
Lapata
please
Ladies. I'll
see
see it.
it. Varun Grover. I mean, I saw both the movies, and Kiran Rao is far better than Varun Grover.
I mean, the opinions can change. I
Okay.
will see that movie as well. So, mom has decided that she doesn't want to stop writing, and she has
Do you want
decided
me
to.
to stop
No,
writing?
no, no, no. I mean,
Oh, should I?
I wasn't saying that in a negative context.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just trying to say that she just doesn't want to stop her creative ventures as of now because she has picked that momentum. So, with respect to that, what are your plans for the next book? Is my question. Keep the camera, keep the mic close to you.
Next book is going to be goofiness part 2, or
Okay.
goofers part 2, if that's a word, you know.
Okay.
So it's going to be another other set of short stories, or maybe a continuous novel, where I'm talking about different set of people who are so endearing in their own being, who have goofed so well and goofed so much, yet they have been such success stories, such beautiful souls, such beautiful creatures. So I am probably going to write about going to write about some people who are close to me. I've observed them big time, and maybe because I've observed them big time, it'll be easier for me to write on them.
Fair enough. The next story would also involve a coming of age narration, which has to do with my brother and I, and the experiences that my mom had raising two sons in an extremely
Nightmare, believe me.
testosterone-driven household.
Nightmare,
Three men.
bringing
Even
up.
my father was a child, so like three young
And
boys and
don't
this
forget
woman.
the so many bhaiyas around.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
it
it was
was,
like
I
a
was
totally testosterone driven household.
Yeah.
Like, just
I was living in a jungle where only men lived. I was the only woman who had to survive and exist. So it was like that, you know. चलो दूसरा question
ठीक
पूछो
है.
आगे
So
का.
to conclude this discussion, when do you think it would be the right time for you to approach a director?
I don't even know how to approach a director.
Okay.
I just hope and wish that something just clicks and something
Falls
happens.
into the right place.
Yeah, because I'm just wishing, I'm letting out my wish in the universe and expecting somebody to come back to me and say that,
That's good.
oh, Jyoti Singh, you've written a nice book. I'd like to make a movie on it. I hope it works out.
Oh, it will work
Please
out.
pray it works
Yeah.
out.
So again,
You know, but to be sorry, I
yeah.
interrupted. I mean, I'm not taking anybody's name, but a couple of them did approach me. Three of them did approach me, but by then my stories were not ready, and they were in too much of a hurry to start a movie. And when my book got ready and my book was in the realm, it was in the reading zone, they had already taken up projects, and I will have to wait. If ever they touch upon my book, I'll have to wait for
Okay.
another 5-6 years.
Understood.
So some people did approach me, but right now I'm clueless.
Okay, so I think we will conclude the discussion. And again, don't forget to buy this book. It's called The Legends of Muddleland. It's on Amazon.
Ask me something
And
about the cover also, na?
what's the cover about?
Cover is a banyan tree.
Yeah.
If
You mentioned this in the first episode.
but I want to
Okay, yeah, do it again.
repeat again.
Yeah.
So first of all,
On that camera.
Muddleland is the place Muddleland that I talk about, the imaginary place that I've created, has a huge banyan tree. So when you enter my Muddleland, the first thing that you see is a banyan tree, and metaphorically, metaphor ही बोलते
Yeah,
हैं
yeah,
ना?
yeah.
Metaphorically, this banyan tree represents Sanjeev. He was the banyan tree that shaded us, guided us, protected us, and kept us absolutely safe and comfortable. So this banyan tree is actually Sanjeev, who was my friend, philosopher, guide, and my comfortable parasol.
Yeah.
That is why this
And
banyan tree.
arranged marriage husband also. Sorry.
But if you get a man like him through arranged marriages, then arranged marriages are the best thing to happen to anybody. And if you get a man like him and a woman like me, marriage is the best institution to be in.
Okay, fair enough. That was a bit supercilious, but okay, fine.
You
Uh,
can delete it, edit
I'm
it.
not gonna delete this. I'm
No,
gonna
please
keep this.
edit it.
No,
Edit
no,
it.
no, no. I'm gonna keep this. Anyway, we will really want you to come for the book review that's happening in Gurgaon. I know for the folks staying in Delhi, Noida, and all these places, it's gonna be a bit difficult. But it's a Saturday, so if you can take the pains, please come. Show her some support. If you show her some support, that means you're showing us some support. And right now, we are looking for your support so that we can get this book made into an OTT or a movie or whatever in a different media or a different platform. And in conclusion, thank you so much. And again, apologies for bringing out an episode in like 8-9 days. We will be a little more consistent with the coming episodes so that we can, like, at least finalize the topics and research accordingly. And yeah, thank you so much. And Shabak Hair, what? Shubh Ratri. Bye. Love you guys.